Ayubowan, Vanakkam. I'm Vayoni Dimel. This is Boston Lanka News, bringing you news, views and entertainment from Boston and USA. Reconciliation Commission, Sri Lanka plans to appoint. Is that just a game of smoke and mirrors? Elections for the Transnational Tamil Eelam Constituent Assembly. Subha Suddharalingam gets elected for the New England region. Concert in Cambridge, Massachusetts to raise funds for healthy community curry kitchen in Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan government plans to set up a reconciliation commission to foster ethnic unity. The US government has welcomed President Mahinda Rajapaksa's intention to establish a commission on lessons learned and reconciliation to examine key aspects of the recently ended conflict in Sri Lanka and added that the findings of the commission should be made public. Brad Adams, Asia Director at Human Rights Watch, commenting on the commission said, "Every time the international community raises the issue of accountability, Sri Lanka establishes a commission that takes a long time to achieve nothing." We spoke to Brad Adams to discuss more about his views. Mr. Adams, in a statement referring to the commission Sri Lanka plans to appoint, you have said that this is a game of smoke and mirrors. Don't you trust the Sri Lankan government with this commission?
Government issued this announcement of a commission simply to try to stop the international community from launching its own commission of inquiry into what happened at the end of the war. It has started commissions on many occasions. None of them have ever produced any significant results, going back many years. But even under this government, the presidential commission that was started a few years ago was such a farce that the international members, called the Eminent Person Group, resigned, saying that the commission wasn't serious. And the reason I don't think that this commission will be any different is that its remit is to look at the 25 years of the conflict. And I'm quite sure that the government's intention is to simply look at the LTTE's behavior and not really to look at its own. It also doesn't have a proper mandate. It doesn't have a mandate to prosecute anybody who's found responsible for violating the law. So the most it might do is to recommend different tactics be used by the Army in future conflicts. But it's not a serious attempt. It's just an attempt to buy time and to keep others from doing a serious investigation.
You have said that Secretary General Ban should not let Sri Lanka bully and manipulate him into abandoning justice for Sri Lanka's war victims. Now, Mr. Adams, some Sri Lankans might say that it is the international organizations like Human Rights Watch that tries to bully small countries like Sri Lanka while ignoring human rights violations and war crimes committed by powerful nations. What do you have to say to that?
Well, if you just look at our website, you would know that that's not true. For instance, we've called for the criminal prosecution of Donald Rumsfeld for the torture that was inflicted by U.S. forces and other U.S. officials. We've been probably more critical of the U.S. than any country in the last 10 years and produced more reports on the U.S. We are very strong on our work on China, which is the biggest country in the world. We're very critical of India in Kashmir, where they handle the Naxalites, the Northeast. So if there are people or organizations that pick on small countries, that's not good. But Human Rights Watch absolutely does not do that. We look at every country's situation and treat it by the same standards.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. The elections for the Provisional Transnational Government of Tamil Eelam was held on May 2, 2010 in the United States to elect 10 representatives to the Constituent Assembly of the PTGTE. There will be 8 representatives elected regionally, 1 from each region and 2 elected nationally. According to the Tamil Diaspora Activities Observer, Kumaran Selvarasa, only 90,866 Tamils worldwide have pledged support for separatism, about 10% of the Tamil diaspora. Tamil population worldwide is estimated to be around 940,000. Mrs. Subha Sundaralingam has been elected as the New England region representative to the first constituent transnational government of Tamil Eelam, according to the official statement issued by the US Election Commissioner, Mr. Ramsey Clark. We spoke to Mrs. Sundaralingam to find out about her views on her recent elections and the future activities. Mrs. Sundaralingam, what is your role as an elected member representing the New England region?
You know, I have been elected for the people by the New England as their representative. In fact, it was an uncontested election. So at this point, it's like a premature for me to answer any questions since the assembly hasn't met. And however, the people by voting and demonstrated their confidence in me and have shown their support for their political initiative. That's all I can tell you at this point, because it's like a premature for me to answer without meeting.
What made you decide to run to be one of the 10 representatives from USA in the Constituent Assembly?
Back home, our kids and kin do not have a political space to articulate their political aspirations. So the Tamil diaspora is also part of the Tamil nation. Given the situation back home, I believe the history has entrusted upon us the responsibility to be the Tamil voice. Since the diaspora has luxury of living in a free world, I feel like it is our moral obligation to exercise the freedom available to in order to bring the peace and dignity to our people.
And now, Mrs. Sundaralingam, is there anything else that you would like to share with the Sri Lankan diaspora?
So one, if I want to say something, is the Tamil diaspora is in a position to advance the political aspiration to our people. And approximately 1/3 of Eelam Tamil population lives in a diaspora, so they are the insequential part of the community. And since the political space is to pursue Tamil rights has been totally suppressed in Sri Lanka, the struggle to establish these rights has to be moved out of the island into the international space that depends on the Tamil people of Eelam occupied. So that's all I really want to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Sundaralingam. The Healthy Community Curry Kitchen, an organization based in Cambridge, Massachusetts, held a concert to raise funds for children in Sri Lanka. Since 2007, the organization has served over 18,000 lunches for children in Sri Lanka. Anne Gleason was the founder and the executive director of the Healthy Community Curry Kitchen.
Today's program is a concert to benefit the Curry Kitchen. It's our way to really bring in more of the Cambridge community, friends from the colleges and everywhere, to learn about the Curry Kitchen, to learn about Sri Lanka. We have 3 amazing bands as well as the Sri Lankan
That concludes our news edition this week. We meet you next week with another news edition of News, Views and Entertainment from Boston and USA. Till then, goodbye.